Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe, joined alongside our chief meteorologist Matt Laupon. He'll join us here in a second talking about some of those recovery efforts up north. But nonetheless, you're here for the 6 o'clock hour. Let's go ahead and get into those stories as we get into our broadcast. Significant drop in temperatures highlights our headlines tonight. And we're talking about a noticeable difference from even what we had this morning. And this morning was pretty cold. But coming up in the extended forecast is that weekend warm up that we're going to be experiencing. And excited about that for sure. And that light at the end of the tunnel, it's not too far away. So that tunnel, pretty short. And that tunnel, of course, pairing with those cold temperatures. But of course, at the top of the show, we do want to join Matt. He's updating us on the latest on Tishomingo County here at the top of the show. And he will also have updates from Prentiss County. We'll be tracking all of that here in just a moment. But Matt, I know that you are live in Tishomingo County right now at one of the warming centers or recovery centers. Just kind of tell us where you are and what's going on out there.
Yeah, we're at the activity center here in Iuka at the First Baptist Church, which has been a warming center and shelter for, yes, about probably a week now at this point here. And with me is Peyton Burklight, who is the emergency manager here in Tishomingo County. Again, we've talked a ton the last few days. I know it's been busy and it's a long recovery effort. Thank you so much again. I want to start off by saying I don't think people understand the hours that you guys and gals that work in emergency management putting in. Thank you for everything that you've been doing. Truthfully, this county is in better shape because of that. So I just want to lead off by saying that.
But it's our power company, our law enforcement, our 911, our county workers. Everyone is working hard. Main focus, restore the power, restore the water, and then help these people that are suffering.
Because you're right. It really is in still some cases people that are suffering. There's still ice on the ground out here in spots. That tells you just how substantial this is. Power restoration continuing, though. I think 3,300 today was what I saw a little bit ago.
I haven't seen the last update in the last hour this morning. It started off at 3,800, and I hate to sound excited about 3,800 people, but we started with over 15,000 without power at one point. So the power workers are out there. They are trying hard. They're trying to get everything up and everything running. But like I said, 3,800 people, 3,300 people, any person still out there without power is too many.
Especially because it's another cold night. But this is just, yeah.
Not only are the temps dropping, but then the wind chill is even colder than the temp. So
it's been a long process. Every road I've driven on down here where you can tell that there might still be some power lines down, there are crews out working. It's slow.
I mean, they're all working sun up to sundown. Everyone has put in hours. Everyone's tired. People's emotions are getting high. They want to know why. Now they're starting to see, well, the neighbors across the street have power. Why don't I? Or, what's going on here? I talked with the power company earlier today. There's probably 200 or better that their weather heads were pulled from their houses. So they're going out to check all of these. They are waiting on the homeowners. As soon as the homeowners get theirs fixed, then they're calling them back and going. And I know they fixed some of those issues today that were coming into 911. But again, over 3,000 people still without power. If they have a specific need and they don't know what to do, we are telling them, call 911. We do have a non-emergency line with 911, so they can call that. And 911 is the hub. They will get it to the right person. They will get law enforcement or ambulance or me or, anybody that they can. They will get out there to try and help. We still have distribution centers here at Iuka Baptist, 105 Eastport Street. They are still handing out supplies, MREs, and they can come in. They still have cots and blankets, and we're down to maybe 10 to 15 that are staying at night. But during the day, we're still feeding hot meals at Iuka. We still feeding hot meals at Burnsville. We have laundry trailers, showers, open up, and we, like I said, giving away bottled water, giving away MREs, whatever food has been donated and all. And we're just hoping. I mean, this is day 12 for some people.
On what will probably be still weeks, unfortunately.
Exactly. I talked with the power company. He gave me 3 areas that were hit the hardest. The last 2 days, we've been discussing people with the hospital, medical clinics. They've given us names of their key people that might still not have power or water. Most everyone in the county should have water unless it's a break on their property, or if they don't have water, they need to call their water associations because they should.
And one of the things that you mentioned earlier was that there have been some generators that have been, I guess, given out to some folks, especially with needs, but want to encourage those folks that as power comes back on to bring those back so they can go to someone else.
Definitely. We have had several of our churches. The Pentecostal church has had some, and they have handed them out. The Baptist church has had some, and they've handled them out. I think yesterday they did like 23 propane heaters and about 20 generators. I had a truck come in today. We've handed out about 18 of those. We are asking people for their name and information so we know where they are. But yes, we have asked every person, if you get power tomorrow, either bring it back or call me and I'll send somebody to pick it up and let's give it to the next person. But we don't have near enough generators for the over 3,000 people that are still without power.
Absolutely. I've seen a couple of folks with the National Guard walk in the last few minutes. They still helping out around here?
Yes. We have teams that started today, and they actually started at the Prentiss Tishomingo County line on County Road 205, and they are doing door-to-door, trying to help deliver water, MREs, check on people, several welfare checks still, but we're trying to hit those communities with volunteers. Hopefully Saturday, Red Cross will have some disaster teams up here. They'll be doing the same thing. We'll touch base on what those hard-hit areas are, but National Guard will be still here until Friday helping us out. Then, of course, we've had numerous faith-based churches that are out there helping us canvass and do. We have several people that have gone on to MEMA and found the self-reporting site. So they are uploading pictures and their address and showing the damage there. I've had a FEMA representative that's been here all week, and just she listens to what she hears me say and she writes me a note. She's been physically has been up in the J.P. Coleman area, North Crossroads area. I mean, she hears something bad and then she goes off. So tomorrow we have a meeting with FEMA and MEMA and talking about individual assistance. So she'll be able to verify everything that I say and everything that she's seen. I have another meeting tomorrow with MEMA and PA assistance. So we'll double tag them and see what we can say. We've got groups from FEMA and MEMA that want us to show them around to still some of the damage and what's going on. I have another visit on Saturday where we'll be doing the same thing. So we're really trying to encourage what assessments and what information has been sent in to my office or self-reporting. I've gotten information from the sheriff's office. I've gotten information from the power company, from 911. So we'll be reporting all of that. And the more we can show that need for individual assistance, then we know that the governor has requested it. I don't know all the ins and outs and the process they have to do, but I do know the governor has requested, and we're waiting to see if FEMA approves it. But we're trying to do everything we can to give our information and show them what there is a need here.
Documentation, right? The more documentation you can have of what you've gone through, that certainly makes a difference for you guys trying to submit it, and then of course for homeowners at home as they go through this. Peyton Burklight, I'm emergency manager here in Tishomingo County. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Anything you want to just add here at the end?
Like I said, I'm just glad that we are making progress, that we are seeing those power numbers come down. Like I said, if there's anybody out there that still does not have power, still does not have water, we are praying for you. We are wishing the best for you. And like I said, we have tarps, we have water, we have food. We are trying to make sure that we are touching base with everyone. We're canvassing these areas. Anyone can pick up these goods at Burnsville or in Iuka. And we, like I said, we know this is like day 12 now. the ones that have power, even myself that got it on day 11, we're thankful, but there's just too many people that need. And in our county, we have a low poverty rate, or we have a fixed income rate, and a lot of these people haven't worked in 2 weeks now. So money is tight, and it was tight before. I mean, the cost of electricity, propane fuel, the things that they are going through in an abundance now. We know that. We wish we could help. If I had a fund, I would help, but until FEMA declares, there's not any individual assistance, but we are trying to help with the food and water and give you a warm place to come in, charge your electronics, and just know that people are out there praying for you.
And we're hoping, we talked to Farron at 5 o'clock, and she mentioned, the tourism board here trying to work together, on a nonprofit sense to be able to give an opportunity for people to give. So we do think that will be coming here in the next weeks to days. So there is, again, hope. And again, thank you so much for all the hard work.
With that being said, I have talked to several organizations, but we have left that with them. You figure out how you can take the donations so that you know how do you decide? There's 3,800 people still without power. How do you decide who can get a fuel voucher or what? So there is more to it than just saying, give me a donation and we'll get it out. So we're hoping those organizations, they're trying to band together. They're trying to see how can they get it? What can they do? What's the best? What I asked for today is if you can give me gas vouchers, if you can give me propane vouchers, if you can give me food vouchers, then that's something that is really needed in our county to help these folks, especially ones that medical needs, special needs, hadn't worked in 2 weeks. Started off, they're already having a hard time getting by. Families with kids, I mean, there's just, the need is for everyone. At this point, there's not one group we can focus on because it's a need for everybody in our community, and they just need help and support.
They do, absolutely. Peyton Burklight, Emergency Manager here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, Gabe, I think we're going to go and take a commercial break here real quick, and then we will come back with your forecast, and then after that, we'll talk with the mayor here in Iuka as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
As we move into storm season, here's something most homeowners don't realize after a storm. Roof damage isn't always obvious. Wind can lift shingles, breaking the seal. Hail can bruise them below, and flashing around chimneys and pipes can loosen without you ever knowing. That damage may not show up for months. If your area has strong wind or hail, a professional inspection will help bring you clarity before small damage turns into bigger problems.
I have been going to Two Blow Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Two Blow Smiles.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Cold temperatures settling back into North Mississippi, as Peyton and Matt were just talking about a moment ago. 44 degrees in Rolling Fork, and a big driver in this forecast is all of that cloud cover. You see it there in the distance, clearing on out and allowing for the heat that's still on the ground and that little heat that's left. That's all escaping and leaving us with those colder conditions, especially once we get into our Thursday morning. Rolling Fork, not the only ones experiencing this. 38 degrees in Smithville, and that breakup in cloud cover, you're seeing it there in Monroe County as well. Even a few stars showing up. So that lets you know this little bit of heat that's left on the ground is escaping, and we are going to be experiencing much colder temperatures Thursday morning, even compared to what we had this morning here in North Mississippi. Now, you might be looking at this camera and wondering, Gabe, what's going on? Well, the power's still out for some folks there in Lafayette County, 36 degrees right now. And a big thank you there for Phoenix Building Solutions for providing this look in Oxford. it will be a look in Oxford at some point, but the power outage is still impactful, and that's taking a lot of folks offline up there in Tishomingo County, also in Lafayette County. Looking at the latest on those power outages, you still see that stripe stretched right across that Natchez Trace corridor and up there towards the northwest. We mentioned Lafayette County, still about 18% without power. Tishomingo County, about 12%, but that number, like Peyton was talking about, down significantly from what it was even last week. But day 13 of an event, you would hope that it'd be getting down at that point. So fortunately for folks up there, it is trending in the right direction. Tippah and Benton County, 31% and 46%. If we look down there towards Union County, 14.5%. So folks still battling these power outages, and those will continue to remain in place as we get into tonight and those cold temperatures set in. Luckily, on our Mama Justice Doppler radar, not tracking a drop of rainfall, as has been the case all day long. So all that rainfall yesterday cleared on out and left us with a beautiful but gloomy and cold forecast here in North Mississippi. Speaking of cold forecast, we are seeing low 30s in Hernando and Holly Springs, 34 up there towards Tippah County. I do see 35 around Iuka, so I'm curious, Matt, here in a second when we go back to you, just how it feels outside. 40 degrees Starkville, Eupora, and 35 around Greenwood, but again, those temperatures are falling, and that difference that we've seen all day long will continue into those overnight hours. Not just here in North Mississippi, look at the entire southeast. A 14-degree drop there in Nashville, 13 in Montgomery, 13 in Jackson, 11 there towards Little Rock, and this colder air will continue to build in overnight, allowing for these temperatures to feel noticeably cooler than even what we had this morning, like we talked about. So we see 37 Tupelo, already 33 in Memphis, upper 20s in St. Louis, and yes, 20s are on the horizon for us here in North Mississippi. As we track that day planner out, we can see those returning as early as midnight tonight with 28 degrees in our day planner, but those partly cloudy skies is the big driver in those cooler conditions, and again, allowing for that heat to escape, making for even more of a dip than what we had this morning. As we look at those northerly winds cycling into the forecast overnight, it's going to again drive in that drier air, but allow some of those clear skies to remain overhead as well. So as we get more towards Thursday morning, we see a significant time frame where those clear skies are in place and all of that heat once again clearing on out, allowing for those cooler conditions to push in. So by the time we get out the door Thursday morning, we're dealing with those cold temperatures. Not impossible to get some patchy fog developing as well, but we do expect the majority of us to have a decent morning commute, a cold morning commute, but decent. 22 degrees Tupelo, 23 Iuka, 23 Vernon, Alabama. Same thing, Louisville, Macon, Kosciuszko, 25 Cleveland, 24 Clarksdale, and then 21 Senatobia. You do see 19 Holly Springs, so some areas colder than others, but watch when we factor in the winds. And you see that change. It's going to feel like the teens, potentially low teens for parts of Marshall County, and then low 20s for the rest of us out there in the Delta. But that wind is dropping us back just a bit. We felt it this morning. Similar conditions can be expected tomorrow with even lower temperatures, and that's why those wind chill values are significantly lower as well. So 22 degrees around pickup. Folks, if you're sending your kids to the bus stop, make sure they have about 3 layers heading out the door to accommodate for these cold temperatures and, of course, those northerly winds. 44 degrees towards drop-off, along with that sunshine. It's not a bad forecast. Those temperatures very similar to what we had today, but the sunshine, that'll be something new that's developing on our Thursday compared to what we had on our Wednesday. So that cloud cover and some patchy fog will try to linger in the forecast, but by late morning, watch how things just start to break up and then clear on out by early afternoon, leaving us with some peaks of sunshine and then that sunshine dominating our forecast into those afternoon hours. These thin clouds, no match for it, so it is going to look much better. All of that slushy ground that we still have here in North Mississippi, and it's just disgusting. I tracked mud in the house earlier today because of how disgusting it is, no matter where you're at. So that will dry up, and that sunshine will work to clear out some of that moisture, leaving us with a much better sight heading into Thursday night, but especially into our Friday. Thursday, high temperatures like we talked about a moment ago, topping out in the mid to potentially upper 40s down there towards Kosciuszko, Louisville, and Macon. Low 40s, Holly Springs and South Haven, and we do see 41 degrees in Corinth, so it doesn't warm up too much, despite all of that sunshine being in the forecast. Thursday night continues to see those clear conditions overhead, but we are watching this ridging pattern, this high pressure system that's going to be driving our forecast. It's what's giving us those dry conditions right now, but the winds are still out of the north. As this trough continues to, this ridge continues to build into the east, that's where these winds are going to shift from the north to coming from the south. And that's going to be a noticeable difference in our temperatures heading into our Thursday morning and really our Friday morning, but really into our Friday afternoon. You can see Friday morning as we head out the door, going to be beautiful skies, should be a beautiful sunrise, and honestly, a beautiful end to the work week. But those temperatures are going to be cold as we are sitting 29 Bruce, Houston, and Amory, 28 Boonville, 30 Senatobia and Oxford, and 33 Cleveland, Greenwood, and 35 around parts of Belzona. So it's still cold, but it's better than Thursday, and that shows that warming trend that's going to be taking place on our Friday, even by our Friday afternoon. And just wait till you see these high temperatures. You're going to smile ear to ear once you see them. It's a fantastic outlook. We are unfortunately watching a cold front that's building in from the north as we get into our Friday afternoon forecast, and that front will cause a brief dip in our temperatures on Saturday, but then the warm air builds in once again. And I say warm, we are talking about warm air. Surprisingly, we're still in winter, but it's not going to feel like winter heading into parts of next week, and we are excited about that forecast for sure. Behind that front, a little bit of cloud cover building in, but those northerly winds do return, and that's going to drop those temperatures for some as we get into our Saturday, but not significantly, not like what we're having tonight, but you will notice a dip. As we look at those high temperatures Friday, though, look at the rise that we're going to see. 60 degrees Tupelo, 59 Hamilton, Alabama, 63 Golden Triangle, 65 in Greenville. And believe it or not, these are not the highest temperatures over the next 7 days. They actually get even better heading into parts of next week. And that's where I was telling you, it's going to be a warm forecast. So things are heating up in Mississippi for sure. And they're going to be heating up Friday night there on the hardwood at our game of the week presented by Casey Lott. Ingomar playing at West Lowndes in Columbus. We're going to be there for all of the highlights, the fan section, the student section of the week, and of course the Spirit Squad of the week. All of that coming your way at 10 o'clock on Friday night. But the forecast shaping up to be a good one. It will be pretty cold, but not like what it will be tonight. So at least we're trending the right way. 48 first tip, 46 by that final buzzer, still with clear skies all Friday long. Well, let's look at this 7-day. And what you're going to notice is 60 degrees Friday, a brief step back on our Saturday afternoon. A step back basketball reference. Oh, gotta love it. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Look at that warming trend as each day passes. By the time we get into midweek, guys, for some parts, we're talking about 70 degrees being possible. So I told you you'd be smiling ear to ear once you take a look at that forecast, and I hope you are, because these temperatures, they're very spring-like, and that's ahead of schedule. So we are definitely fortunate that we get to experience some of that warm air and clear off all of those concerns that moved in last week with that winter storm. Going to knock out hopefully all of those problems and give us a sense of normalcy. But coming up here in the next 60, we're also going to be talking about that cold air being driven into the forecast heading into our Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. So we're going to be talking in more detail about that. But before we head off, I do want to bring it back to our chief meteorologist, Matt Laubon. Let me make sure he is up right now. Looks like he is good to go. Matt, what do you have for us over there in Tishomingo County? Been watching it all day long and assessing that recovery effort. Things are definitely trending in the right direction, but there is still a long way to go.
Yeah, it's just, this is a long county north to south, right? And there's just a lot of real estate up here. And some of the things that we love the most about Tishomingo County are what make it incredibly vulnerable to an ice storm. The trees, the hills, it's the highest elevation in the state, tends to be one of the coldest locations. All things that unfortunately did not play in its favor as far as this is concerned. Now, I do have Kenny Carson, who's the mayor here in Iuka. Thank you so much again for joining us. The recovery efforts are ongoing. This shelter has been a blessing to the community. Can you tell us how things stand?
Yeah, so far, when we opened the shelter, we'd never had one before, so we decided to do this. It's been a blessing to everyone. There's been so many families that were displaced and had nowhere to go, no power, no heat or anything. So it was set up for them. We had food. People brought in food. The churches were stepping up and bringing in food. It's been very well received, and I'm so proud of our community. It's unbelievable what they've stepped up to do, and you can see it's kind of dwindling down. People are starting to get power back on. We're still 3,800 people without power, so and we're 12 days in for some people. So it's
and more. There's just a lot of people I've talked to when I was over at the hospital and other places today. A large percentage of people still don't have power. Even in the city, and I know that's a slow process as well.
Well, as a matter of fact, you say that. Here we are in the city limits. There's the mayor and the board. There's 5 aldermen. 4 of our aldermen are in the city limits still do not have power. So
That shows you the depth of the problem, but I mean, it's just how big of a task it is.
it is, and a huge shout out to the TCEPA and all the co-ops that have come in to help them. It's been definitely a team effort. Our city workers, our public works departments have done phenomenal job getting our streets cleaned, keeping our water system going. Just a prop to all of them. So many people. You think you want to name names, you can't. You'll leave somebody out. But the supervisor, our Tishomingo County supervisors, we've worked so well with them in the city. Two of the districts are our city of Iuka, and we've had a great partnership. And of course, you've seen all these volunteers when you walked in the kitchen here at the Iuka Baptist Church Activity Center, the shelter, and just it's phenomenal. There's definitely people are getting food, but you know what? I just want people to know, as bad as it is, it's not over. Just because the ice is gone, it's not over. I mean, there's a lot of people struggling right now, and we're going to need some. We're going to need some outside help. So, because I don't think FEMA's going to be able to. It takes weeks sometimes to help people, and right now people are struggling to eat. So.
Yeah, and that's one of the things they have here. I want to show them real quick. You brought that there. Absolutely. Again, we're with Kenny Carson, who's the mayor here in Iuka, and I want to poke this into, again, it might sound simple, a warm meal for folks that have that tonight, but yeah, that has not been something that everyone has been able to have. Hey, y'all wave for a second. The folks over in the kitchen here, and there's less people in there than was a minute ago. Of course, I think we're kind of... Oh, okay, yeah. So they head back over there. It's something as simple as a warm meal is not a simple thing when you don't have electricity. You have no way to really heat something up.
Exactly. That's again. You take so many things for granted. I mean, I've actually walked into a room 100 times and flipped the light switch and it's pitch black. I'm like, what are you doing? You just take it for granted. Now, when this happens like this, you're like, how blessed we really are blessed, the things we have. And we're going to make it through this. Just going to need some outside help. As you see, we do have the things downtown in Jaybird Park, hot showers. I don't know if you've talked about that at all.
No, I haven't talked about it. In some other places I have, but I mean, that's a big deal to just try to feel a little bit more normal and it's a mood improver for sure.
Absolutely. And for anybody out there that's in this area and you need to wash your clothes or come take a hot shower, in Jaybird Park across from Iuka City Hall in downtown, we have those set up, and it's been a blessing so far. So many people have been lined up trying to get them. We have people in here waiting right now. These guys are waiting to go take showers and wash clothes. So
you can wait in the warmth. It's not like you have to sit in your car and idling while you're waiting on that.
That's exactly right. And I want to thank you too for coming up here and getting it out there and seeing how bad it is. And it's just not us. It's Alcorn County, Tishomingo County, Tippah County. The northern counties really took a beating.
Hit really bad. I mean, even toward Yalobusha County out, I think that's one thing that it's very striking to me is just how widespread this is, because you have a tornado, it's concentrated bad. This is just kind of everywhere, and that's really hard to get your brain around.
As bad as it is too, I have a very special place and a lot of family and friends in Oxford. Lafayette County is devastated. I mean, the place is like a war zone. It's terrible. And like here down there on Pickwick Lake in J.P. Coleman State Park area, we're bad in Iuka. The northern part of the county is even worse.
Yeah, there are just some isolated places that are just very, very rough. And we're just so thankful for all the linemen and the people, that like yourself, but of course also the first responders that, have worked just tirelessly through this time period.
Yes, our police department as well, City of Iuka Police Department. I want to give a shout out to Belmont, who was not affected on this. So the very southern end of the county was not affected. The mayor of Belmont, Brandon Farr, and the chief of police, they sent police officers up here to do wellness checks and help us out, which is, it doesn't go unnoticed, and we're very grateful. And I'm sure they seem to be Tornado Alley for the last several years, so we'll be right there for them as well. But we want to say thank you for everybody in the county, Mayor Lawson and Burnsville. We've worked well together, going back and forth, and there's just too many people to name. But the linemen, hats off to them, because they really had it bad. And one of their own linemen here, Denny McGuff, it's a tragic thing. He was electrocuted and lost an arm trying to help us, and that's huge. And I think he's going to be okay. As far as I don't have the latest update, but I mean, still, just people pray for him. This is your viewing audience. Step up and say a prayer for Denny McGuff and his family.
Well, let's go and do that right now. dear Lord, please be with Denny and his family. And God, I know he has a long recovery process ahead, but just continue to heal him. And thank you for the men and women like him that serve selflessly and have been working day and night to get things back to normal for so many folks. And God, I pray for a speedy recovery for all the folks up here in Tishomingo County and across the area. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. And our guardsmen, I want to say thank you to the guards for being here as well. So we're feeding them tonight. I'm going to go over and check on them. And we appreciate you. I know you're tired as well. I mean, you were talking, it's exhausting, but man, I'm glad you got up here and got to see what's going on firsthand.
Well, and just trying to keep a light on it, because there's a lot of places that it feels very, very normal right now. And all the places I've been the last few days, including northern Tishomingo County, some of the worst I've seen so far. So anyway, thank you so much for having us down here.
Thank you so much.
Kenny Carson, mayor here in Iuka. Okay, we're going to take a brief break here. We'll talk to the emergency manager in Prentiss County. It's amazing the distance between there to here. Almost everybody back on again in Prentiss County. That's how an ice storm, you can be so close, and it's just, they had it rough too. Anyway, we will talk to Bud Lindsay coming up here after this.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. We will be discussing this cold weather that's ahead, but it's still an uphill battle for folks, not just in Tishomingo County, but over in Prentiss County. Emergency Management Director Bud Lindsay tells us more on where things stand there in Prentiss County. Oh, wait.
Okay, so we're here in Prentiss County talking to the emergency manager, Bud Lindsay, about the response. Things, Bud, have gotten a lot better over the course of the last few days. You guys hit very hard by this storm, but really starting to round the final corner, right?
Yes, we are. We've had a great response out of our power company over here. We started out with 8,000 plus people out of power. They're down less than 200 now, and a lot of that is still due to weatherhead damage to the houses and all that. When homeowners get their houses fixed back, they can go back and get hooked up, and we'll get that number knocked way on down too. So
it's one of those things. The power lines, can only go so far, and then there's a portion that the owner owns. And you mentioned the weatherhead there. You have to have an electrician to hook that back up if it got ripped off the house. So that's great. Now you said things have slowed down in here today, as I think the National Guard's moved on out.
They have been here with me. I've had two guys in my office with me since Saturday morning, day and night. They have never left me. They finally got their orders through. We got all of our requests sent in, and been getting things processed very well. And they have transitioned out of here. And the guard that were working on our roads, they've got their mission complete. So they're moving out. So.
The statistic that I
want to say, we're still going to have a presence here in our county because we have a armory up here where they're staying. So we're still going to have a presence in our county, but they just kind of transition and hitting other places in other counties. It's harder hit than we are.
Well, and you guys were hard hit, but you've had, again, an amazing recovery. And I think one of the statistics we want to highlight that's been very fortunate at this point here, no fatalities in Prentiss County.
No death-related fatalities in Prentiss County so far, and I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, me too. So, general mood, I guess, improving here. Anything that people still need at this point in time?
Yes, we still need to get these other folks on power. I understand their frustration, but it's a process now, like I say, to get the weather heads and everything fixed, get poles back up in areas that they're working on these secondary lines. They are working as fast as they can and as hard as they can to get that done. And I hope within the next 2 or 3 days maybe we'll get through with that. But like I say, we've come a long way from 8,000 down to what we are now. So we coming along.
Absolutely. Bud Lindsay, of course, the emergency manager here in Prentiss County. Thank you so much for joining us on Mississippi Live.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you so much for facing with us throughout this whole event.
And I will say, everything's getting a little better, but as far as anybody's unmet needs, if they will either call my office here or if you got an emergency, call 911, and they'll get us to you. And we do have water and MREs and things like that we've been trying to get out all over the county, and if there's a need for that, let us know.
We're bringing it back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. One of the biggest things we're trying to push with these recovery efforts is the fact that it's going to be cold again tonight. So all of those warming centers for folks that are without power, make sure to make some plans to get out there tonight because temperatures are taking a significant dip, even colder than what we had this morning. So if that's going to be too cold for you, make those preparations and get to where you need to go. As we track that cold out, you can see that we are in this ridging pattern over there in the western United States, and that's allowing this northerly wind to cycle into North Mississippi, and that's where that colder air is coming from, all the way up there towards Canada. So over the next 3 days, and we're tracking that Wednesday night into your Thursday morning, you can see how that tongue of cold air basically getting into the southeast part of the United States and North Mississippi included. So that's why we are seeing this drop in temperatures. But watch how we get more into Friday and things start to shift just a bit. We get that cold air starting to move up the Atlantic coast with that system, and then we're going to be more of a westerly wind, honestly expecting more of a southerly wind building into North Mississippi. That's allowing some of that warm air to return to the forecast. And Friday, you saw it just a moment ago, 60s back in the forecast. So tonight, it's unfortunate being with how cold we are, 28 degrees by midnight. I mean, with those northerly winds, it's going to feel in the low 20s and potentially teens by the time we get towards our Thursday morning. But Friday morning, Friday afternoon, we'll be looking at that light at the end of the tunnel, and we are excited to get back to a little bit of a sense of normalcy. And of course, that warmer air will do exactly that. But in order to stay prepared, we do encourage you to have that Mississippi Live Weather app handy. It is available on iOS and Android today, so go ahead and download that today, and you'll be updated on all of those future forecasts, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, or the next 7 days. All of that readily available on our app right now. So make sure to give it a download if you have not already. Our next broadcast is going to be at 10 o'clock tonight. Yes, some may call it Gabbing with Gabe. You'll get that as well. But we're really going to be breaking down those temperatures heading into those overnight hours and just how cold we're talking about Thursday morning and how warm things will be heading into this weekend. We have some good and bad that we're going to be discussing, but of course that trade-off will be worthwhile once we get into the weekend. All the latest details coming up here in the Room to Room Weather Center at 10 o'clock. We'll see you there.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.